Hello, Ectosage on the Sage channel, and today a very awesome update came out for space engineers that actually enabled these awesome little Gatling guns and these missile turrets. Now really quickly I'm going to jump in here and show you some of the cool things about them. First cool thing is press 3 to select them. The 4 there, I just ended up with 2 because I clicked and dragged them down twice, is that they actually push you back. So while I'm using this, because this turret is set up in such a funky way, whereas the firing point is actually so far off to the side, I'm going to shut off this gyroscope, that way it just keeps on spinning. When the turret fires, it's pushing back at that corner, spinning the whole thing around its pivot. So it's pretty awesome. If we come over to this one here, we can hop in here and you say, okay, this is going to be awesome, right? Not so much. Yeah. If a missile is within, I believe it's 2 blocks of another missile, and actually it looks like some shrapnel almost has shot over there and broken that one off, but if a missile is within 2 small ship blocks of another missile, they collide. So basically all those just blew themselves up the second they left the turret's point. This turret over here, which a lot of people said was their favorite, and it's probably my favorite too, is pretty damn awesome now. If we unload, you can see that the Gatling guns themselves are indeed not spinning, but they are pretty awesome, and let us remember this is early days in alpha, and that they just add these today, so you can bet they're going to be spinning soon, especially if you listen really closely. Not sure if you can hear it, but when I let up, there's this little sound of them spinning down, so I bet you in the future these will be spinning probably pretty soon, but they're really damn awesome, and you can just unload on stuff with these currently. Of course, there's in creative mode, there is no ammo or anything, but I suspect in the future there might be some ammo issues and ammo things that we'll have to deal with. You can see there, I can just make a nice sweep with these, and all those bullets are going to reach those targets in a few, well, just half a second or so usually. And oh boy, is it a lot of fun. And it actually sounds pretty awesome. I turned it down a tiny bit, but if you have your sound up there a bit higher, oh god, did these ever sound really good. Let me fly over to this one here. Basically the same thing as the first turret I had, where it's off kilter, but this one's a bit heftier, and I have 2 gyroscopes, so it doesn't push it around as much. And now let me fly, oh dear, dear, fly over past this little rubbish one to this, this turret here, which is basically my more advanced version of the one I was just using, which is basically instead of having lights there, I now have missiles, and they're more than 2 blocks apart from each other. You know, this little thing is actually 3 blocks wide, so more than far enough apart, so now I can begin unloading with missiles and missing terribly. There we go. Okay, that's not that impressive, but if we shoot something up close, you can see how insanely impressive these missiles are. They just tear through things. They're insanely awesome. And of course, we can press 3 and switch to our Gatling guns, and you can see that the Gatling guns do deform stuff about as fast as maybe the handheld assault rifle, maybe a little tiny bit quicker, but these missiles just absolutely tear through stuff. Now if we were to hop out and fly over to this one, you can see I've solved the issue of the missiles colliding with each other in a strange way by actually putting them, instead of left, right, farther apart, I've put them farther back. That way when this missile fires and it's right there, 2 blocks different at least, and voila, you have this missile. So I can unload with this one, and you can see now we're launching 6 missiles at a time, and it is absolutely devastating everything we fire at. We can even devastate our other turrets, and it just tears stuff apart. It is a lot of fun. And you can basically just sit here and keep firing, because currently there's no ammo restrictions or anything, and you just tear through everything basically. Now let's hop out of that, and by the way, indeed that is 6 missiles and at least 2 gyroscopes. There you go, you can see there's one's way up in there. We got a light and guns there anyway. But if I was to fly over this, you can see before I built that turret I was just experimenting about, and I came up with this ship here. It's a very simple ship. If we were to actually cut open the side of it, I can show you its inner workings. So I'll do that, there you go. And on the inside there you can see that we got 2 sets of these sort of engines that just point at each other, get us going in every direction, and a bunch of gyroscopes. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward ship. Both these are the same. I'm just going to jump in this one here, and you can see I started with, 1 missile. I was like, okay, how far do I have to put this back before it doesn't blow itself up, and ended up being that far, which is actually 3 blocks. But that's because the missiles are longer than they are, what is it called? Left, right, up, down. Anyway, let me hop in here. You can see now we have this monstrosity of a ship that's able to fire a bunch of missiles, and you can see those missiles blowing up. That is because missiles do have a certain distance that once they get to it, they just go off anyway. So if we were to aim back at this, let's say, we're going to fly those ships like these. Let's see, I'm absolutely able to devastate anything with these just by taking a shot, and boy oh boy, it just goes right through it all. And of course it also helps because the missiles are spaced. The missiles that are farthest forward blow up, and then the ones that are back a bit more have a chance to hit something completely new, instead of them all impacting at the same time. So you can just completely destroy stuff with this sort of tiered design. Now, if we were to fly over to these ships, these are my original nice little ships, and you see we got a lot of shrapnel that flew off and did some damage here, which is pretty cool actually to have that shrapnel flying about. If we were to hop into this old ship that I got here and get down into it, hop into its cockpit, and really quickly take a shot, yeah, that's because as I was, oh, where have I gone? I've fallen out of the bottom. As I was showing earlier, these ships have these missiles too close together. So even like one block isn't enough, you have to have at least two. So if we were to, let's say, remove that one, or even just, let's say, lower it, so it's 2 blocks difference between the two, now this would work. Oh, that's actually backwards, isn't it? No, that isn't. That's good. Now that would actually work fine. So if we were to hop in here really quickly, voila, now we can actually fire these missiles without any trouble at all. Nice, nice, nice. It's a bit annoying considering that first missile turret I had looked so nice, but I'm getting used to it. Now, as I was fiddling with these and all that stuff, I did find something strange, and it's actually down here on this now actually fairly torn up ship. And you can see, actually I love the fact that shrapnel is actually doing damage and stuff. And you see something strange here. And these are missile turrets behind missile turrets behind missile turrets. And you might think instantly, okay, well, it's just going to blow itself up, right? The missile's going to come out of this one, impact that, and the whole thing's just going to blow itself. No, actually not. That's not what's going to happen. So if I'm flying over here, hop in this, and oh look, we're still in one piece. And actually, if you look at the very top of the ship here, you can see those 2 turrets there, or 2 missile launchers there, are actually shooting through the yellow. That's because a ship, the missiles a ship launches cannot actually impact on its own ship. So they're actually able to go through whatever. Or any part of the ship, even though they're completely blocked by a bunch of yellow blocks here, those missiles are indeed still going right through it. Now, interesting thing is also that works for Gatling guns. I don't have those blocked, but they do indeed work. I was able to fire those Gatling guns through solid yellow blocks that were part of the ship earlier. And as I was fiddling around with it, I sort of thought, well, how far can I take this? How far can I take this? So I kept on going. I kept on adding more turrets, and I ended up with this ridiculously slow-moving ship. And actually, this thing can mine through asteroids pretty damn quick, as I will now demonstrate. So we can hop in here, take aim at what's in front of us, do a third-person view because it looks amazing with all the smoke, and fire. And of course, the first missiles hit, and then the second missiles hit, and the third missiles hit, and the fourth missiles hit. So instead of it just doing a little dent in there, which maybe 1 or 2 missiles would do, or even if we launched, a big array of missiles that actually hit at the same time, instead of just denting in maybe like to there, you can see we've torn all the way into here. Now really quickly, I'm going to fly back and continue shooting through it. And you can see in pretty much no time at all, we're actually going to be able to dig through this. Now, you might notice that things are slowing down. My frame rate is still actually pretty good. But the game itself, because it's doing all these physics calculations, and this would actually happen even if I wasn't hitting an asteroid, if I was just firing missiles out into empty space, as it's trying to calculate all these missiles exploding and flying about, the game actually starts slowing down as it does when you're crashing large ships. Your frame rate remains stable, but the game itself, because of those physics calculations, slows up. But you can see here, it's very cool. You can see the missiles actually give off light, so as they're going through the asteroid, you can see they're lighting up the tunnel as they go through. And you see we've pretty much, I think, cleared through the whole asteroid. If only this ship would accelerate a bit faster. I guess maybe I should have put a few more engines on the back. By the way, those little tiny engines there are mainly just for looks. The main propulsion is coming from those 2 big sort of interfacing engine systems that we have on the inside. And there you go. Actually, you can see daylight on the other side, or at least I could a second ago. Where'd it go? There it is. There it is. It just took a second for it to clear. And indeed, now, because of the way these turrets are set up, or these missile launchers, I keep calling them turrets, we can pretty much fly through this thing. And we know that because the highest point of the missile is highest point of the ship, we're going to have a perfect hole, and indeed we did, and we can fly right through it. This stuff's pretty damn awesome. I highly suggest you go download this patch, or actually, if you have it on Steam, it's probably already downloaded. So I highly suggest you pop the game open and start playing with it yourself. It is a lot of fun. Also, in the video that they showed, showing this stuff off, they showed some multiplayer stuff, which they made clear was in a private build that they haven't released to the public. But considering they showed it, I get the feeling it might be getting closer to release, so soon we might be able to see it, you know? Anyway, thanks a bunch for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Oh, now look at this. Look at this. These explosion things aren't going away. Well, it is early days in alpha, so that's to be expected. And even my missile turrets aren't even, or my missiles themselves aren't having streams anymore, because all the particles that are allowed to exist in one game are taken up by these glitchy things. And I'm sure that'll be fixed sooner rather than later, or even if it isn't, let's be honest, it's a minor thing.